We'll go ahead and get started. First question, Kaliko.
Hey, Coach. After last night's game, you talked about the energy, especially on defense. How are you seeing that same energy on offense? Are you seeing it in a positive way in terms of creating shots and just organizing the half quarter? How are you seeing that overall?
Yeah, I mean, I do think we're at our best when we're playing with pace up the floor, and when we get kind of bogged down in the half court offense, it's a little bit harder for us. So the energy part is huge when it comes to the offensive part, and we are creating some good shots. I thought Eric had some good shots last night, and we want him to continue to shoot those shots. And then our other threes were relatively good. But what I was encouraged with last night is we weren't necessarily settling for threes. Like Dave Nawaba was attacking the rim, and Sterling Brown was attacking the rim. We just got to get more offense off of good defense. I mean, we just didn't get enough stops to create situations where we can get out and run. Like I've been doing a little bit of research or whatever, and making sure that we are pushing the ball after rebounds, and we did a really good job of that last night. Previously, we were towards the bottom of the league as far as transition off defensive rebounds. And that was one of the things that I had mentioned to the group, and Will Weaver did an edit with the group to show them that part of it. And we did that better last night. But overall, just the defensive part was disappointing.
Jonathan Fagan.
Stephen, was the situation with DeMarcus last night in any way a distraction? And is there some benefit of that no longer being in limbo?
It's definitely good for it not to be in limbo anymore. I don't know if there's a distraction or not. I don't really think so. When it comes down to like the ball goes up and you start playing, I'm not sure that it's a distraction at all. But I do think it's a positive thing that it's resolved, not just for the group, but for him. I mean, we really want what's best for him in this situation as well. And for him to have some clarity and some freedom to get to a situation where he can succeed is very, very important.
Does it help you guys move on in terms of settling this as your center? Well, obviously, till Christian gets back, this is your center rotation?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we're going to be small, and the defensive rebounding part last night, I think we got 80%, excuse me, of the defensive rebounds. So that was pretty good. But yeah, it looks like we're going to be small to start with Tuck at the 5, and then have Justin, who played well last night, be the backup and try to do what we can until Christian comes back. Because obviously, as we continue to say day after day after day, he is a very important piece that we're missing. And, it started off as a couple games that we were saying, yeah, we wish we had Christian, and now it's 8. So we wish we had Christian.
Thank you.
Michael Shapiro.
Hey, Coach. You've mentioned numerous times this year about the spirit of the group being an important thing. How would you assess the spirit of the group right now, post-game and today before practice?
Honestly, it could be better. It could be better. We had a discussion about that today, and I'm very in tune. I don't know whether it's like growing up as the son of my dad, or being in NBA locker rooms since I was little, or being an assistant coach for so long, but I am very in tune to like the group dynamics and the spirit of the group. And our spirit isn't great right now, and we got to figure out a way for it to turn in the right direction. And you wouldn't expect the spirit of a team that has lost as many games as we have in a row to be great. It's natural. It's human nature to kind of go into your shell and kind of be in self-preservation mode. And I talked to the group today about the accountability part, about the accountability to each other, and my role in the accountability, and just making sure that we are all on the same page when it comes to that.
Thank you.
Ali Kambajani.
Hey, Stephen, pregame yesterday, I asked you about mental health and kind of what the organization and you guys are doing. I want to ask you specifically, what is the ideal relationship that you strive to have with your players and your coaches, especially in that context of mental health?
I think it starts with honesty. You know, there's times where, especially as a head coach, when you're talking to a guy, excuse me, and you're not necessarily going to get like the 100% truth because of the position that you're in. As an assistant coach, it's a lot easier, I think, because you're connecting with only a handful of guys on a day-to-day basis, and you can really kind of delve into the how are they doing part of it and not how are they playing part of it. I have my individual meetings with players most every day. I'll check in with one or two guys, but from my position, is really reliant on the assistant coaches and the performance team. Because again, the performance team, they're the guys who are sitting with when they're on the table and they're doing their treatment for a half hour, or they're taping their ankles, or the massage therapist who is being attentive to a guy and spend that like long duration of personal time with an individual where you can pick up cues. You can kind of dive in a little bit deeper and figure out if there's something there or not. But it's such I can't overstate the importance of mental health when it comes to NBA players, and there's a few parts to it, and I don't want to get like long-winded, but I do think it's important. There is the stigma around mental health and getting help for your mental health, which hopefully by conversations like this and hopefully whatever you're putting together around this topic will be something that is helpful and promotes guys getting help and not really worried about that stigma quite as much. And you can do it in a confidential, personal way where it's not for everybody's ears and not for everybody's eyes to see that you're getting help. But there's also the stressors of being one of the best in the world at what you do, and the pressure that comes with it, the pressure of having to perform your best, the pressure of having to provide for your family, the pressure of the last year of a contract, the pressure of coming back from an injury, and the pressure of the short-term kind of lifespan of the contracts that these guys are on, and making sure that they're good for the rest of their lives. There's just a lot there, let alone the family aspects and all of the other things that every American goes through. So yeah, it's a big deal, and we are attentive to it. And I hope as the time goes by, I get better at it with the group, and we as an organization are just like on top of it because it's important.
Thank you for the explanations.
Adam Spolling.
Stephen, did Victor return to practice today, and just where did things stand with him for tomorrow and any other injury updates?
Yeah, he's questionable for tomorrow. Eric's questionable for tomorrow. Eric did an ankle last night. Vic, we didn't really do much in practice today. Today was more of a mental day. After 3 days of after 3 days of practice and then to play the way that we did last night, I felt like it was more of like a mental day for the group and really making sure that everybody is on the same page mentally. So it was more of like a conversation that we needed to have more than coverages, more than all of that. So he did his treatment. I think he got an individual workout in, and he yesterday maybe was doubtful. So now he's questionable, which is an improvement.
Kelly, go.
Oh, that was an accident. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. Jonathan Fagan.
Both teams have sort of had a similar situation with centers who, for whatever reason, timing or style or whatever, didn't fit as well. Is that around the league now becoming a way to manage that kind of thing, where rather than try and make something that doesn't work, reach an agreement with a guy? Is there a benefit to doing it the way the Cavs have, the way others have, and now you guys have with DeMarcus?
Yeah, I think that it benefits both, right? So for some guys, it's a hard position to be in because teams are going small, and it's just hard to have those guys on the floor at times. And that creates frustration on their part, which I completely understand. Like, I totally get the frustration that comes along with being in their position, especially when you have played at the level that these guys have played at. So there's like a part of me that is just, frustrated because you just want to like help and it just doesn't present itself because of matchups and lineups and small ball and pick and roll and the ability of these guards to just like come off and shoot or attack. So a few years ago, it used to be like the roller was the most important thing, and you'd have to figure out, what are we doing with Dwight Howard as he rolls to the rim? Or what are we doing on Paul Gasol as he rolls to the rim? And now it's like Dame Lillard and Steph Curry and Luka and all these guys who have the ball in their hands. And, it's just very different. It's a very different game. So that's from our perspective. But then the player perspective, at least in our situation, we wanted to make it right. Like Cuz did, he came here on a non-guaranteed contract and did what he was supposed to do. And we rewarded him. We guaranteed his contract because he did those things. And we want what's best for him. And one of those things is what's best for him is probably the ability to kind of choose where he goes next. And I'm hoping that is something that he is comfortable with and something that will be beneficial for him and for Andre Drummond, for that matter, because he went to St. Thomas More, where I went to prep school. So it's just a tough spot for those guys. It really is.
Thank you.
We'll take two more. Jerome Solomon.
Hey, Coach. I know you've been around some long losing streaks before, and some of your assistants have as well. What are some of the challenges? And I know that you win a game here or there to stop a streak doesn't make you better or worse necessarily, so it's kind of random. But what are some of the challenges of falling into a rut in a long losing streak? And are there specific ones that are unique to this team and what you guys have been dealing with here the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I would say ours is just a little bit different. Like, so you're right. I have been through some long losing streaks in my career over the last 20 years. And that's just kind of part of an NBA season, I guess. If you're a middling team, like when I was in Charlotte and when I was in Golden State, we were like kind of just hoping to make the playoffs. And so you have some losing streaks. The difference in this one is that we are missing one of our best like two starters every game, at least two starters every game. So we don't have Christian Wood, and he's playing at an all-star level. And then we don't have Victor, or we don't have John, or we don't have Eric, or we don't have Tuck, you know. So throughout this whole streak, we have been missing at least two guys who we depend on, and like 40 points out of our lineup, and defensive guys who are have really helped us become I guess we're number 5 now, number 5 defensive team in the league. So yeah, that's what makes it different. There's the hope that as we get guys back and as we kind of become whole, then things will get better. Whereas I've been on teams where there was no hope. There was no person coming through that door to help right the ship, and we have that here. And yeah, that's kind of how it is.
And last question, Brian Beerfield.
Coach, have you all been informed about what the second half of the schedule is going to look like, or are they going to release that right before the All-Star break?
I'm not sure. I know they're going to release it at some point, but I'm not sure what it looks like.
Thank you, Coach.